I'm glad to be here. I've got a story that I'd like to tell you. A couple years ago, my sister had surgery, and her husband had to go back to work right away, right? The next day, he's got to go back to work, so she's home by herself. So they got a group of people together, and they said, we need wife sitters to take care of Chris so that she's safe in our home. So I went over there. I had the first shift that next morning. I went over there, and I got there, and I got her supplies that she needed, and I poured her a glass of milk, and I sat and I chatted for a little while. Then I went back to the office, and somebody else came in the afternoon. Well, that afternoon, the storm started. And then the outdoor warning siren went off, and we were under a tornado warning. So I get there the next morning for my shift, and I said to her, after I poured her milk and checked her supplies, I said, so, in our chat session, what'd you do yesterday when your NOAA weather radio went off? What? I said, what did you do yesterday when we had a tornado warning? And she said, well, I didn't know we had a tornado warning. So even though my blood pressure is starting to go up, I calmly said to her, where is your NOAA weather radio? And she said to me, we don't have a weather radio. What? Say it with me. What? Because we're experiencing extreme consternation right now. How is it possible this woman is even related to me? I tell you this story not about my sister, but about us, about our preparedness messaging and how our messages are not getting through. And I think we need to have a real conversation about how we can get our messages through. We need to move the needle. I say in almost every class and every meeting that I go to, we need to start moving the needle on preparedness. I don't mean that we're going to move the needle this much. I mean we're going to move the needle. Just move the needle a little bit. I'm sorry. People in the back room can't see me, can they? We need to move the needle not this much. We just need to move the needle a little bit, just a little bit. I see a lot of areas where we can be more sensible. For instance, legal requirements for emergency management programs, with me? National Incident Management System, with me? Incident Command System, with me? How about the myriad of folks that are using the Incident Command System every time we have an incident that occurs? But I want to talk about preparedness today. So, when I think about preparedness, what do I think about? I think about the individual preparedness. And what that tells me is that it's not a generic system. It's very specific. So I looked at my area and I said, what can I do in my area? And I came up with a concept. I like my concept a lot. I'm going to share it with you guys today. But first, I want to say, we already know that individual preparedness is the foundation. It's the overall support for all of our local, state, and federal response. Because this slide comes straight to us from Unit 5 of Incident Command System Level 400 training. Alrighty then. I think that's a good thing. We're talking about it right there. But the Citizen Corps survey from 2014 tells us that from the prior survey, we haven't moved the needle. We've been training in this for a decade and more, and we still aren't moving the needle. So what are we going to do about it? Well, first of all, we have to acknowledge that we're all individuals. Agree? Individual preparedness, and I think it's grand. Every single one of us trains and works basically in the same construct, and yet every single one of us, when we look at an emergency management concept, sees it or feels it or thinks about it in a different way than our neighbor does. That's why we can come to these sessions and learn, because we're all different people and individual. That's a great thing. So my concept, if you'll bear with me while I help you get involved, came from looking at all these other programs that we've seen. The Map Your Neighborhood program was brought to the state of Illinois. We rolled it out in Illinois. It's a great program, right? We rolled it out, it flopped. Whoops, what happened? Bad program? Nope. Great program. We're the wrong audience. Then what happened? Well, we came to the conference and we saw Ready LA, and we said, wow, that's great, and we took it back to Illinois and we rolled it out. We gave these guys full credit, by the way, both organizations. What happened? We rolled it out, it flopped. Bad program? No, great program. We're the wrong audience. You can go into almost any governmental office in the United States, count the number of preparedness brochures they've got in their little kiosk area, and then go back 6 months later, and I'm guessing most of the time the same number will be there. Bad program? No. Great program. Maybe just not the right audience. So, we tell people that they should go to the ready.gov website, and then when they get there, we give them this checklist of things that they're supposed to do and they're supposed to have, correct? Well, Dr. Gawande tells us in his checklist manifesto that 7 items is the maximum on your checklist in order for your checklist to be effective. And yet we're sending folks to a website that has dozens of things that they need to do. I'm thinking maybe these people need to be coaxed in a little more slowly. So here's what I do. I say you need to have 3 things that you know, 3 things that you have, and 3 things that you do in your messaging. And I've been using this. So here's what I would tell my sister if I was dealing with my sister in the tornado incident. So Chris, I understand that you don't think that Northern Illinois is ever going to have a tornado. But I'm here to tell you, in 65, 67, and 75, we were ravaged by multiple tornadoes on the ground at the same time. It happened before. It can happen again. Where are you going to shelter? In your house, when you're restricted, confined to a single floor by doctor's orders. Where are you going to shelter from that? And then where are you going to go to get additional information, like the Ready website or a local preparedness office? Then I want you to have 3 things. First, a NOAA weather radio, like this model that I have in my purse all the time, or like the model we have in our bedroom. Then I want you to have a flashlight, because if you get hit by the tornado, not only can you keep yourself safe with the debris that's on the ground, if you're stuck, you can try to signal to rescuers that you're there. Then I want you to have a whistle, because the whistle is going to do the same thing. 2 days in, if you're still under debris, you're pretty dehydrated. You're not going to be able to yell very long, but you can whistle. 3 things to do. I want you to take cover immediately. Don't mess around with this. We do it with our own fire drills. You remember Dallas? We were on the 29th floor and we all went, do we have to go downstairs? No, take action, people, take action. Listen to news reports so you know what's going on locally and when it's safe to come out. And then when you come out, I want you to check for injury and additional damage that could cause problems. Gas leaks, electrical problems, that kind of thing. Those 3 simple things. So I'll tell you right now, I left my sister's house that day and I went straight to Walgreens and bought her a NOAA weather radio. She's got no more excuses on that front. But I've been using this for a while now, and I'm seeing some movement in the needle. I'm not getting big movement, but I'll take a little movement. Thanks for your time.